Okay, settle in, grab your favorite beverage, because you are joining us for a deep dive into some really fascinating source material today.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
This particular deep dive actually comes to us from our listener, Denny, 5DCC, and it's centered around, well, a potential new home for the radio on the Rocks Cafe cast, over the Digicom Cafe.
Ah, right. Denny shared these sources. So our mission today is to really unpack this platform he mentioned. It's called NotebookLM.
NotebookLM, okay.
Yeah, and explore how it could maybe serve as the foundation for this specific read, listen, and engage model they're proposing within the Cafecast.
Okay.
And, really drill into some of these interactive audio features described in the docs. They sound like they could completely change how you learn with audio.
Interactive audio. Sounds like we're looking at more than just like a tool. It feels like a whole new workflow maybe for exploring topics, especially something like, amateur radio communications.
Exactly. And at its core, like these sources describe it, NotebookLM is an experimental AI research assistant. It's from Google, but, and this is important, there's a crucial twist. It works directly with your specific content.
Your content. Okay, so not the whole internet.
And that twist is really the key here. When we hear AI, we often think of those chatbots that can answer, well, pretty much anything from the internet, right?
Yeah, the general ones.
But the sources really emphasize that NotebookLM is fundamentally different because it is grounded in the material you provide.
Grounded. Okay, that term comes up a lot in these notes. What does that actually mean, in practice for someone using it?
It means its knowledge-based, its whole world, is strictly limited to the sources you upload. So think Google Docs, PDFs, maybe even websites and YouTube videos you feed it.
Ah,
It literally won't bring in outside information. Its entire understanding, its ability to generate insights, it's all confined to your uploaded documents. Nothing else.
so it's not like serving the web for answers. It's laser focus on just the specific stack of papers or videos or articles you actually give it.
Precisely. And that's really where the power comes in, according to these documents. The sources highlight that it becomes this kind of virtual research assistant that analyzes, summarizes, helps you spot key points.
Okay.
Does suggest relevant questions, but only based on your material. And it can even like draft outlines or study guides that are rooted specifically in those documents you gave it.
Okay, that level of focus, yeah, that seems incredibly useful, especially for tackling a really specific subject. What about asking it questions, though? Is it like a typical chatbot Q&A?
Well, the Q&A feature is described as one of its real standout capabilities. You can ask it questions in natural language, just talk to it about your documents, and it will give you answers.
But there's a but, isn't there?
But the critical difference, and this is emphasized like repeatedly in the sources, is that every single answer comes with direct citations. It points you right back to the exact passage in the original document you uploaded.
Ah, okay, so you can immediately check, where did this info come from, right within your own source material. No more guessing or having to like hunt down where it got that idea.
Exactly.
That must build a lot of trust in what the AI is telling you, right? You're not just taking its word for it. You can literally see the evidence in your document.
Exactly. It lets you cross-reference, dig deeper into the source text itself if you need more context. It's all right there. And beyond that core analysis and Q&A, the sources also mention other features that kind of build out the notebook idea.
Like what?
Well, tools for taking your own notes alongside the AI's insights, ways to organize different research topics into separate notebooks, and even some collaboration features so you could potentially share notebooks with others.
And the material mentioned, it can even generate content from your sources, not just analyze them.
Yes, exactly, including generating audio summaries, which is pretty crucial for this whole Cafecast idea we're talking about.
Right, the listen part.
Yeah. The sources also note it has capabilities like understanding and even referencing images within your documents, which is pretty smart. And generally, it can facilitate discussions based on the content you provide.
Okay. And what's making it tick? What's the engine?
Under the hood, apparently it's running on Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro model. The sources seem to imply that this is what gives it that really robust analytical capability.
Got it. So you upload your stack of sources, could be anything radio related, and NotebookLM becomes this smart layer on top, helping you understand, question, and organize just that material. Okay.
Makes sense.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and connect this tool, which sounds pretty powerful, to that specific vision described in the source material. For the Radio on the Rocks Cafe cast and the Dishcom Cafe, this is where our listener Denny, K5DCC, really sees it fitting in.
Right. So the idea presented for the Cafecast, as I understand it from the sources, is to use NotebookLM as the central hub, almost like the main table where discussions happen in a casual coffee shop setting.
A virtual cafe table.
Kind of, yeah. Specifically for exploring amateur radio topics.
And the proposed workflow for this is that read, listen, engage model. Can you walk us through those steps, how they're outlined in the sources?
Absolutely. It seems like a pretty structured but also flexible approach to learning. Step one is read.
Okay.
So you choose a topic, something related to radio communications you want to explore. Then you'll hop into NotebookLM, create a new notebook just for that topic. And then critically, you upload your chosen sources, hopefully high quality ones.
Like articles, maybe technical docs?
Yeah, articles, technical documents, maybe transcripts of YouTube videos, anything relevant. The idea is to use NotebookLM to help you process this material, essentially, to read it efficiently, get the high points, identify the core concepts, and maybe even start formulating questions based on what the tool surfaces.
Okay, so it helps you kind of get a handle on the foundational material first. Makes sense. What happens after you've done the reading, or had NotebookLM help you read it?
That leads smoothly into step two. Listen. So based on those very sources you uploaded in the ed step, NotebookLM can actually generate an AI audio discussion.
Generate audio, like a podcast.
Essentially, yeah, a personalized summary presented in a conversational podcast-like format. The sources describe this as the Cafecast itself.
Okay.
The purpose here is to listen to this AI-generated summary. It gives you a different perspective, helps reinforce what you've read, and potentially lets you go deeper into certain aspects that caught your interest, all in an easy-to-digest audio format.
That's really intriguing. Turning your own research documents into your own private audio discussion. So you read the material, then you listen to the AI summarize and discuss it. What's the final step then, Engage?
So engage is where you move from just, passively consuming the intro to actively participating. The sources mention engaging with this AI discussion, maybe even by voice.
Talking to it?
Potentially, yeah. And maybe interacting with other tools, like they mentioned the Digicom CAFbot for related questions. But the most innovative aspect of the engage step described, and one directly supported by NotebookLM itself, is this feature called interactive audio mode.
Right. This is the part that really jumped out in the sources, this beta feature, interactive audio mode. How does this actually work, and why is it potentially such a game changer for that engage step?
Well, this is where the learning really seems to become dynamic. The interactive audio mode, and yeah, the sources are clear, it's in beta, allows you to basically jump into that AI-generated audio summary
Jump in.
and interact with it. In real time, as it's playing, it transforms that listening experience from just, one-way information flow into a living conversation.
Wait. You can talk with the audio summary while it's playing. How does that technically function, according to these sources?
Okay, so first, you need to have generated that audio overview, that conversational summary we talked about in the listen step.
Got it.
Then, when you start playing that audio overview, the sources say a button appears, something like join, or maybe ask question.
Okay. And when you click that button,
Clicking it immediately pauses the AI audio playback. Then you get the chance to either speak your question or comment out loud, or you can type it in.
speaker type. Okay.
The AI then processes your input and it responds directly to you, weaving your question or comment right into the ongoing audio discussion.
That's wild. The sources make it sound like you're almost stepping in to co-host the summary with the AI voices, like you're joining the chat.
That's exactly the kind of experience the sources convey. You're not just listening anymore. You're actively participating in the narrative or the discussion that's based entirely on your original documents.
Wow.
And the sources really highlight the immense flexibility this gives you. You can actually guide the conversation to focus on a specific subtopic that maybe you're struggling with.
Uh-huh.
Or ask for clarification on some technical term you didn't quite grasp from the reading, or even like challenge a point the AI made based on your understanding of the source material.
So instead of the usual thing where you pause the audio, maybe make a note, look it up later, you can instantly just probe the AI hosts right then and there about that specific detail.
Precisely. It makes the whole learning process incredibly personalized and really responsive to your immediate curiosity and needs. It adapts to you.
Okay, that sounds potentially very powerful.
The sources do note that this feature is available on both desktop and mobile, which is good, though they do set a little caution because it's still in beta. Apparently, some users have reported occasional bugs, especially, maybe, when using it on a mobile device.
Right, beta software. Always a bit experimental.
But the potential being described here is, well, it's immense.
Okay, thinking about the big picture now, how does bringing NotebookLM and this interactive audio mode together really support that whole read, listen, engage model that was proposed for the Cafecast? Especially for someone, diving into amateur radio topics. What does this mean for you, the listener, trying to explore this stuff?
Well, it seems to create a really powerful, kind of cyclical learning loop. First, NotebookLM provides the necessary structure for that initial read phase. It helps you efficiently process and understand the key information from your chosen radio communication sources.
Right, makes the reading less daunting, maybe.
Exactly. Then it generates that accessible audio layer for the listen step, giving you that conversational summary to reinforce your understanding, maybe hear it explained differently.
Okay, and then the interactive audio mode is like the engine for the engage phase.
Precisely. It elevates engage from just, oh, I should think about that, or I'll ask someone later, to actively interacting with the summary of your own material. Yeah.
You can ask for specific examples of, say, a technical concept in antenna theory, or get clarification on some piece of jargon, or explore how maybe two different articles you uploaded relate to each other, all within that audio discussion format.
The sources mention a few use cases this enables. Learning and study, obviously being able to instantly ask for examples or clarification while you're listening seems huge.
Definitely.
Content creation, maybe using the interactive discussion to refine your own understanding or pull out specific points for something you're writing, and collaboration, sharing notebooks, and potentially even these interactive audio experiences with others, maybe others in the Cafecast group.
And when you tie all that back to the stated goal from the Cafecast source material, using this whole process and technology to explore amateur radio topics and ultimately become a skilled operator, you really see how it fundamentally shifts the experience. How so?
It moves beyond just passive reading or passive listening about radio theory or practice. Instead, it feels like you are actively exploring the topic with your sources in a conversational format, guided by your own curiosity.
So it provides a clear, integrated pathway from processing the initial documents to getting an easy-to-digest audio overview to then having a truly dynamic, personalized discussion that's driven by your own questions. And crucially, it's all grounded in the material you chose.
Yeah.
It sounds like it turns the whole research process into more of an active dialogue.
It really does. It's a compelling vision, I think, for leveraging AI, not just to, spit out answers, but to actually help us interact with and deeply understand our own information landscape.
Yeah, this deep dive into the sources shared by Denny, K5DCC, has definitely opened my eyes to the potential of this kind of setup. Based on everything we've talked through today from these documents, NotebookLM really looks like a powerful, source-grounded tool.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to really enable that structured read, listen, engage model and that innovative interactive audio mode. Well, that seems poised to make the engagement piece genuinely revolutionary for learning, turning passive listening into active conversational exploration.
It really suggests that the future of learning, or at least part of it, might be less about just consuming static information and much more about dynamically interacting with knowledge, especially when it's tailored so specifically to our own needs and our own sources.
Absolutely. And, that leads us perfectly into our final provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider today. Based purely on the material we've explored, if you can actually jump into an AI-generated summary of your own research
Yeah.
and have a real-time conversation with it, ask it questions, guide it, how does that fundamentally alter our traditional understanding of what it even means to study or research a topic? What new possibilities does that open up for truly mastering a subject, like, say, amateur radio, something to chew on,